What does math have to do with citizenship? Former civil rights activist Bob Moses believes that in today's economy, math holds the key to our children's futures.
What you have facing you today is a technology which has issued in a new literacy requirement. Math and science are sort of front and center with reading, writing, and if people don't have these skills, then they really can't participate as citizens, just as people who couldn't read and write and didn't have the right to vote couldn't participate as citizens back in the 60s.
In Cambridge, in 1982, Bob found his inspiration for the Algebra Project in the Boston Metro. By taking a train ride with his daughter Maisha and then describing that trip in numerical terms, he was able to teach her algebraic concepts in a way that she clearly understood. By defining his starting point as 0, traveling in one direction can be represented as positive numbers, while traveling the other way can be seen as negative numbers.
We're saying the students don't come to the mathematical table empty-handed. They come there with their life experiences. So the issue is, how can we find in those life experiences the mathematical concepts? And then you want them to get ownership over those mathematical concepts. We signed a contract with them at the beginning of the school year. We actually went to Morrison Academy, went to the school here. We said, okay, if we take them, we want you to agree that they should do math with us for 2 years, every day on block schedule, and that they should sign that they're going to commit themselves to doing this, right? So the issue is, can you demonstrate that the students that the system currently is failing can actually, you can put in a program that can turn that around and that they can actually succeed in high school. Now, the costs to the society are potentially, there's enormous benefit to this.
The trip that we take the students on at the beginning of the school year is the foundation on which we teach this algebra project.
We need a volunteer.
On this trip, the students tour 8 local landmarks. The idea, according to Moses, is to introduce them to the people and opportunities in their own communities. More importantly, the trip brings to life the basics of algebra.
How much time did you spend at the fire station? In order to answer that question, you need to know what time it was when you first arrived and what time it was when you left.
We spent an hour at the fire station, but...
It's by talking about and analyzing these experiences that they can get a sort of natural way into mathematics.
Is everybody in agreement?
Yeah!
Returning to the classroom, the students diagram their trip.
There was grocery here. This is what? Riverside, and this is what? Fire station. Okay. Now, what is my benchmarks going to be?
This trip line helps to introduce several algebraic concepts like equivalence and positive versus negative numbers.
So there's a +1, +2, +3. Today we're going to deal with the equivalent trips. Amy, we're going to start with you. On the easel.
Could I have Kevin give me a trip, please?
Trip 6 and trip 10.
And what are the features of the trip that make these both trips equivalent?
The 4 features are start, finish, number of stops, and directions.
You want to see the teacher moving in a coaching mode. You want to see students talking to each other. You want to see students engaging each other. What you want is the child sitting in the class asking, what do I think about this? I mean, what are you thinking when you think that +1 is larger than -1?
What are we thinking?
Yeah,
we
what
think it's higher than our numbers because it's positive.
In the society that we are living in now, you got to be able to analyze what is put before you. If you can get that foundation in the 6th grade and just move upward, then you will be ready for technology. You will be ready to go out into the world and take on these jobs. And this Algebra Project is what he called a gatekeeper. And he's here to open the gate and let them...
On your mark, get set, go!
Stop so. Jojo. Well, I think it helps kids to learn math in a different and better way, because when folks started saying algebra project, everybody in our class started talking about, we can't do no algebra, it's too hard, man, you're going to be pi times 3 and all that. Then we got in here, it was more easier. You just make up maps and charts and bar graphs. You really can't be wrong, because it's your own opinion in here.
I think it's an excellent program because it teaches us to work in groups and to just take a few more steps to bring out the problem to make it you think more. Like a simple problem like pairs of school bus routes, and we make an access matrix with them, bring them on out and show you how we get the answer by step by step.
He makes you think. He's not the kind of guy that will give you the answer. He makes you think. He makes you like your mind is puzzled, and it's like a brainstorm or something. He's not going to give you the answer. He's going to make you think.
Students began to filter into the project who had been middle schoolers in the early 80s. They took on the culture that, well, we should do something as young people in this project. And gradually, I think they evolved a concept of themselves as a young person who was able to stand up in front of other young people and talk about and do math. So that took a while, right? Because there's no sort of cultural, format or to say that young people should do something like that, even anywhere, right? It's just not something that young people do or have done, right? So, but once that took hold, and part of what helped it take hold was graph and calculator, the technology, because you have young people who are used to pushing buttons to make images pop up and down on the screen. So it's a technology that they think of as worthy of their attention. And so they are willing to attend to bits and pieces of the technology in a way in which they're not willing to attend to different particular pages of a math textbook, right? So you get kids then who are willing to show what they know to other kids.
On behalf of the Indianola Middle School, we want to take this opportunity to welcome you to our first annual Delta Algebra Project Open House, a day which has been set aside to show you what your child has accomplished.
These social events, filled with singing and math games, are run entirely by the students. Through these games, the kids are given an opportunity to teach their parents what the Algebra Project is all about.
Then what we're doing is saying to the kids, here's the way. You want your parents to participate? You can bring them into the classroom. Your parents can participate. And so they're urging their parents, come, Mama. Come, Dad, let me show you what's going on.
Bingo!
They didn't call positive. No, they didn't call positive. They didn't call positive. They are the stakeholders. In the end, you have to entrust the community with holding the educational system accountable for what happens to their children.